What's up, Facebook fam? It's 11:45 Mountain, February 2nd, 2019. This is the pre-show. We're about to get this started here in the next 4 minutes. So, if you are watching the rebroadcast on YouTube, on the website, or anywhere else, Facebook, please forward to minute 4. If you are watching the rebroadcast, please forward to minute 4. That is when the podcast will begin. Basically, if this is your first time, my name is Aaron Lujan. This is Counterculture. This is my podcast. This is the last episode on my personal Facebook page, as I will be deleting Facebook tomorrow, I think, or Monday. I actually was going to delete it tonight, but realized that I'm going to kill my opportunity to have this video get seen by more people on Facebook if I delete my Facebook account right away. So I guess I lied. I'm going to delete it probably on Monday after I get as much juice from the video. So if you guys are watching the rebroadcast, please forward to minute 4. This is a podcast. I record this live on Facebook. There will be no guests tonight. Basically, the purpose of this podcast is to give my viewpoint on Facebook, why I'm quitting, and why you should too. So we got another couple minutes. Want you guys to check out my shirt. What's up? Does anybody know who that is? That is the late, great Andrew Breitbart, a hero. I know he's a very controversial figure because he's in the middle of the war, was in the middle of the war. May his soul rest in peace. I bought this shirt because I always wanted to wear it on the podcast and realized I'm in episode 33 and I have yet to wear my Andrew Breitbart shorts. So shout out to Andrew Breitbart. Wonder what he'd be saying today. We're 2 more minutes in. Thanks for joining, guys. For those of you that are watching, you guys probably know me personally through Facebook. And I'll be sharing this at the end of the podcast, but I'd like to stay connected with folks that want to stay connected with me through social media. A lot of you guys don't live near me. I don't see you guys very often, and I love you guys, and I want to stay in contact with you. So I will be trying to connect with folks on Instagram, and that's basically where I'm going to be. Not going to be really doing a lot of news or political related stuff, more personal life stuff, just being a regular guy on Instagram. So if you're looking just to stay connected, Instagram's where it's at. If you want to stay connected to the podcast and you don't have a podcast player, I am going to keep Counterculture Facebook page alive. So I will probably be creating a new page and inviting you. So if you want to accept my invitation, accept it. If I haven't invited you, nothing personal, I probably just oversaw something. You guys are welcome to look for Counterculture with Aaron Lujan on Facebook. I will be going live there, as well as multiple platforms. The next couple podcasts are going to have really high production quality. We're going to have more guests. I've been talking to a former congresswoman, been talking to a news analyst who appears regularly on RT. So there's going to be some really good interviews coming up, some really good content for you guys. We're about 20 seconds away from the podcast. Again, if you're watching the rebroadcast, forward to minute 4. We're about to get started. That adrenaline 10 seconds before. 7, 6. And we're live from New York. Welcome. Today is February 2nd, 2019. You are listening to Counterculture with Aaron Lujan. This is episode 33. I'm quitting Facebook and why you should too. Right now, this is being recorded live on Facebook, and the rebroadcast video is archived at aaronlujan.com, YouTube, but most importantly, available on all the major podcast players, iTunes, Stitcher, etc., Podbean. Counterculture with Aaron Lujan. I wanted to start the podcast today by sharing with you guys that I'm drinking black coffee. I always love that Slurpee sound when I listen to the podcast. I hope you guys do too. 2004 Facebook, I think, launched. I was about a year out of college, and my ex-girlfriend at the time's like, I got this cool thing, it's Facebook, it's so cool, but you can't have it because you have to have a .edu address. And I'm like, oh, that sounds stupid. So I was really biased towards it. I just kind of thought, oh, it's like this for little kids, right? Way back in '04. And kind of ignored it. Obviously had a bias against it because I wasn't shortly thereafter with her very much longer. So kind of associated Facebook with her. Saw it rise, saw it become popular, and being the anti-establishment person that I am, I rejected it, refused it, personally boycotted it, '05, '06, '07, and then in 2008, I believe, yes, it was 2008, summer of 2008, I was in Europe, and some of the kids on the trip were like, we gotta stay in touch, we need to stay on Facebook. Sorry guys, that's a really annoying voice. And I'm like, yeah, cool, fine, whatever. And I gave into it. My buddy was like, come on, man, sign up for it. All these kids that I had just met on this awesome trip were like, sign up for it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I signed up for Facebook in 2008. You guys, it's been 10 years and 4 months that I've been in Zuckerville. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a party before where you just know you've probably stayed a little bit too long. The people are a little bit too inebriated than they should be. The music's a little bit weirder than it should be. There's a lot less people that were there when you got there and during the cool part of the party. And you just wish that you would have brought your own car because it's whack. You don't want to be there anymore. Do kids still say whack? I don't know. I'm like, I feel like an old dad, you know? That's groovy. You know, I used to make fun of my dad for saying groovy. Now I'm saying whack. Anyways, so the moral of the story is I've been at this Facebook party way too long, and it's just, you know, the stragglers are left. And I realized I'm a straggler, and it's probably time for me to go home. And that's kind of where I'm at in a nutshell. But with that being said, you know, Facebook for me, as I mentioned why I signed up, its intention, and I think most people's intentions, was it was this really novel concept where we could stay up to date with people we don't normally see on a daily basis and be able to peer into their lives. You know, obviously people that we care about, stay updated, stay connected. And on paper and theoretically, philosophically, that's just really cool, right? You get to stay in touch with folks you don't see every day, and they get to share their really cool moments. And that was the reason why I signed up. You know, it just seemed cool. Keep in touch with people that I don't see every day. And not before long, I realized that it was no longer serving its original intent. And a lot of that is probably my fault. So, being the person that I am, that I guess feels inclined to be the newsboy and wake up people, as I had my political awakening shortly after 2001 and really had a serious political awakening in 2006, I felt that it was my duty to wake up my friends and family, my loved ones, because I naively, can we all say naively? Naively thought that I could jar their sleepy heads out of doldrum and wake them up to the reality that they were living in, poke a hole in the matrix, like my guest last episode said, who, by the way, I think is taking down the governor of Virginia. Shout out to you, Pete. That's pretty cool. And I thought to myself, yeah, I can post, you know, all this amazing news. I can wake them up. And I was naive. I was poorly mistaken. What I found out is that people weren't interested in having their minds changed. In fact, if you disagreed with them, they no longer liked you. And I've said this before on the podcast. If you're tuning in for the first time, this will be pretty cool information. I've estimated that since I've joined Facebook, I've had a net loss, not even a net loss, a total loss, because I've gained friends since I've lost a lot of friends. I would say anywhere from between 80 to 100 people. Think about that, guys. 80 to 100 people have unfriended me on Facebook. Now, I'm not upset. I mean, it hurt me with some people because I really loved them and I really wanted to stay in contact with them, and my feelings were hurt that they no longer wanted to be my friend. You don't want to sit at the lunch table with me? Oh. But I got over it because I realized, you know what? Your true friends would never do that. You know, your true friends love you despite your mistakes, despite your failures, if they genuinely assume that, you know, my shortcomings were my viewpoints. For example, I have lots of friends that I don't agree with politically, and some of them I actually love more than the people that do agree with me politically because I love them as an individual. I don't put people into camps based on their political viewpoints. In fact, it's actually a true story now that I think about it. Some of my best friends either are politically apathetic or lean left. Of course I have friends that agree with me politically, but interestingly, I actually think that a majority of my better friends are politically apathetic or left leaning. So I am not one to sit up here and unfriend you, but I realized not shortly, but a few years into Facebook that I was not winning any hearts and minds, that I was losing people pretty quickly at a fast clip. And then 2016 rolled around and boom, it was like 40, 50, 60 people within a matter of a few months. And so the people that did stick around, and anybody who's ever sneaked into one of my political debates or arguments, they turned into very toxic, mudslinging, electronic, digital face bashing, where I will admit I became snarky at times out of frustration and sometimes anger. And there were moments where they got the best of me, and there were other times where I genuinely tried to be a peacemaker, and even when I attempted to make peace, it did not work. These arguments became very toxic and generally ended in an unfriending. So I wasn't really winning any arguments. Another reason why I want to quit Facebook, it's a habitual time waster. I'm in line at the self-serve grocery store buying my French bread and jelly, and what did I buy this morning? I'm sure you guys are really interested. I was at the grocery store buying jelly, French bread, I don't remember. See? I probably forgot what I was supposed to buy at the grocery store and still haven't gotten it yet. Anyways, I'm standing in line looking at Facebook. You know, do I have an update? Oh, do I have a friend request? Oh, I wonder if so-and-so replied. And then afterwards, I think to myself, who freaking cares? Like, this is stupid. But I guess it's better than staring at Parade magazine or National Enquirer and Double Mint gum at the checkout line. But Sean Parker, the founder of Napster and the former president of Facebook, I think said it really well and gave us a deep insight into why it's such a time waster and why we need to quit Facebook, and why you should too. Is Sean Parker said something, he articulated it so well. I quote him, quote, "How do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible?" Referring to Facebook's earliest mission. Quote, "God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains," end quote. Quote, "It's a social validation feedback loop, exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology." Social validation feedback loop. That is such an articulate way of describing Facebook, and I would implore you guys to really just dwell on that idea, because if you find yourself like me in idle times, at the red light, in line for the grocery store, on the toilet, hashtag let's keep it real, hashtag wash your hands. Man, our phones must be dirty. You're probably just peeking at Instagram, peeking at Facebook, thinking to myself, man, I wonder what's going on in Zuckerworld. What's going on down at the corner of Zuckerville? Because we are designed to have social engagement with other human beings, and they are exploiting vulnerabilities in our psychology. And the president of freaking Facebook, who was inside at the early stages of that company, has come out on Axios and admitted it just recently. A habitual time waster. It's exploiting our minds. It's become incredibly toxic, especially in the age where everything is political and everything is where we're not interested in learning your point of view. We're interested in snarkiness and just beating you over the head. There's no more genuine debate. There's just argument. There's a huge difference between debate and argument. Another reason why I'm quitting Facebook and why I think you should too is privacy. Do you guys value privacy? And let me begin by saying that any of you that know me, I'm a professional marketer. I actually resell Facebook for a living. So I kind of feel silly and had a moral crossroads, if you will, with where do I really stand? Am I a man of integrity while, calling for privacy, calling for respect of the Fourth Amendment, while at the same time making a living and supporting my family by reselling Facebook services? And I came to this conclusion. I have an obligation to my clients to provide them the greatest return on investment. And right now, Facebook and their platform really provides a return on investment. And I'm hard pressed to be able to find other platforms that provide the service that my clients receive from it. So the way I look at it is, if people would voluntarily remove themselves from Facebook and move to other platforms or provide a vacuum for innovation, I won't have to sell Facebook. Also, if the people that are using Facebook are approving their terms of services the terms of services when they sign up for Facebook, they're essentially giving their permission to do so. So I understand that legally speaking, all my T's are crossed and my I's are dotted, but it's more of a moral question for me. Am I doing the right thing? And I can tell you that I hope for the day that Facebook goes away and I can advise my clients elsewhere, and I'm already beginning to do so. But one of the insights that I would like to share with you guys is, when you sign up for your Facebook profile page, most of that basic data, your name, your address, your phone number, your job, your date of birth, your location, where you've lived, all those initial questions are built for people like me to buy that data and resell it in the form of ads. And all of your activity, online and offline, who you're associated with, what you're doing, where you're physically going, is all being imported into a profile that's being resold to people like myself. Now, I thought this was common knowledge. I have maybe a bias because I'm in the industry, but a Pew study showed that 74% of the American public aren't completely aware of the magnitude of surveillance and privacy and lack of privacy that Facebook provides when you're on that platform. And the rumor that I believe is true is that they're listening to you in real time, not just when you're talking on the phone, but all the time. So if you carry your phone with you like me and everyone else, and you're having conversations with your wife, you're having conversations with your husband, you're having conversations with people you shouldn't be having conversations with, you're having conversations that you shouldn't be having, it's being recorded and listened to and archived and packaged and resold to the market. So it's kind of like, you got to ask yourself a question: would you record your entire day and put it on Facebook? When you're changing, when you're having those intimate conversations with those close friends and family members, would you post that on Facebook? Well, if you wouldn't, then why are you sharing it with them? And you don't even know who has access to that information. And do you know if that information can get hacked and released by enemies? I've always thought about that in my private time, in my private moments. I think to myself, could this information be getting stored, and could my enemies use this against me at some point in time? And hey, it very well could be. So what I wanted to do is just quickly chronicle some of the highlights, facts, news stories, to give you guys an idea in its proper context how evasive Facebook is in your private life. The Wall Street Journal in September of 2017 reported that Facebook accessed its users' financial data via messengers interfacing with financial institutions. So I guess if you have an account with T. Rowe Price or Merrill Lynch, apparently some of these financial institutions were interfacing with Facebook Messenger, which seems crazy to me because I'm not allowed to record data with financial institutions, lawyers, and healthcare professionals, but for some reason, these financial institutions got permission. So now all of this financial information was getting moved around and is open to hackers. Can you imagine checking account balances, investments? You're not going to leave an ATM receipt on a table. Imagine having all that information, all that detailed information available to anyone around the world. January 2nd, 2019, and you guys have to forgive me here because this is Ghetto Podcasts and I'm looking at a website trying to find this information as quickly as possible. Axios reported that Facebook's data settings are mostly useless. Only deleting your account can stop their tracking. So even if you log out, even if you deactivate your account, they're still able to track you. Does that sound like a company that really is just trying to connect you with your friends and family? Or does it sound like a company who's really trying to get everything that they can regardless of ethics? The other article was from June of 2018 from the Wall Street Journal. Really proud of the Wall Street Journal. They've been doing some crazy deep reporting lately. June of 2018. It was reported by Axios. Facebook shared users' data with Chinese firms known to share data with its government. If anybody knows, the Chinese government is run by communists. They have a one-child policy. They got vans driving around grabbing women. True story, look it up on duck.com, not on Gulag, where they probably have censored you there and will not give you certain search results. But if you search for it, the point is that the communist Chinese are incredibly tyrannical, and we have Facebook sharing users' data with Chinese firms like Huawei and TCL that have direct connections with the communist Chinese. So we literally have Facebook, as it's reported by Axios of last year, working with the Chinese government indirectly sharing data. That sounds a lot like what the Russians used to do under Stalin. April of 2018, as it was reported by Bloomberg, Facebook stole biometric data from millions of Americans. It's invaded its users' privacy. A federal judge ruled Monday that millions of the social network's users can proceed as a group with claims that its photo scanning technology violated an Illinois law by gathering and storing biometric data without their consent. Damages could steep, a fact that wasn't lost on the judge, who was unsympathetic to Facebook's arguments for limiting its legal exposure. I continue. April of 2018. That was April 2018. July of 2013, as reported by The Guardian, X-Keyscore NSL tool collects nearly everything a user does on Facebook. X-Keyscore is a top secret national security agency program that was exposed by whistleblower Edward Snowden, boasted in leaked classified documents. Remember, these documents were classified under national security. We got to see them. Woohoo! Its widest reaching system for developing intelligence from the internet backdoored into Facebook. Facebook's working with the National Security Agency. Their servers are connected, and it was admitted they're collecting, quote, nearly everything a user does on Facebook, end quote. So, that information is going into an NSA database, folks. We all kind of knew this, right? Sorry, am I yelling? I don't know why I'm yelling. Oh, I know why I'm yelling. I think this is my second cup of black coffee, and so it's like a mixture of exhaustion because it's 12:09 a.m. right now as I'm recording this podcast in nighttime, and I'm drinking black coffee. Anyways, June 2013, ZDNet. Dude, my voice is trembling. I'm cracked out on this caffeine. Woo! Get it out of me. Exercise the demons. What is this? Okay, I'm sorry. June 2013. I'm getting silly now. It's late. Got caffeine. You guys might witness some craziness tonight. I might get banned off Facebook just for acting crazy. And I'm just acting crazy because I'm trying to cover the fact that I can't find this article. June of 2013. ZDNet. Anger mounts after Facebook's Shadow profiles leak in bug. Friday, Facebook announced the fix of a bug. It said it inadvertently exposed the private information of over 6 million users when Facebook's previously unknown shadow profiles accidentally merged with user accounts in data history record requests. So essentially, there was a bunch of shadow accounts that were on Facebook, not of real people. And apparently they merged with actual accounts, revealing information about your account that you may not have wanted on Facebook. I don't know anybody who's had their information leaked personally, but man, that'd be crazy if photos that I did not want on Facebook ended up on Facebook. I would be upset. Like, I don't know if you know this. I have kids. I do not put pictures of my children on Facebook because if I did, they would have offers from Nickelodeon. They're so darn cute. And you know that's true. No, but in all seriousness, I just want certain things private. And the fact that Facebook cannot keep their agreement with their users and respect the privacy, I have an issue with that. June of 2013, USA Today reported Facebook glitch exposes info on 6 million users. So I guess that was the same article. Washington Examiner also back in June of 2013, Google and Facebook are misleading their users according to Edward Snowden, the whistleblower at the NSA contractor. I will quote him. Their denials went through several revisions as it becomes more and more clear they were misleading and included identical specific language across companies. He was basically referring to misleading their users about the amount of personal data that they allowed the federal government to access. And he also revealed that Facebook was allowing the NSA to have, quote, back-end access to their data servers. May of 2013, where are we at? May of 2013. Search warrant. Let's go search warrant. Sorry, guys. Yeah, International Business Times. Your Facebook messages and private emails are not safe from FBI surveillance, says the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, left-leaning ACLU. Government officials may not always obtain warrants when they snoop through our emails, Facebook messages, and other electronic communications. And the FBI apparently does not even believe it's legally required to do so. Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment. Yeah, no, it's actually unconstitutional to not have a warrant and search and seize personal belongings. But it's being done anyways, as reported way back in the old days of 2013. January of 2012, London Telegraph reported about the worm. And I'm not talking about the worm where you the breakdance move. I'm talking about a bug, a virus that locks down 45,000 accounts to stop the worm from spreading. Facebook cannot control their platform, you guys. I don't know if you know this. If you got credit cards associated with them or any of this other stuff, and they were a bank or anything else other than a social network, they would have been out of business a long time ago. I mean, Marriott had one breach, and it was like major news, and it affected them big time. There's lots of examples of companies who have had far less scandal with regards to its privacy and have suffered far worse consequences in the market. Facebook's unique because it has the power of media and the power of the government behind it. I'm literally on the platform right now. A lot of power, guys, which is why I'm on here trying to sound the alarms and lead by example and disconnect my Facebook more than likely Monday. So I continue. November of 2011. Let's go to November of 2011. CBS News. I actually noticed this on my own, Googling my name when I was trying to look at the organic rankings of my podcast. Facebook enables Google to index users' comments as search results. So if you leave a comment on Facebook and somebody, keyword searches those terms, your Facebook post could be indexed in Google search results. Can you imagine what that could be? I mean, have you guys ever said anything on Facebook that you may have regretted or said 5, 7, 8, 10 years ago? And now that lives forever on Google? What if your kid's doing a book report in 20 years? Mom, did you say that? I'm scared. Anyways, September of 2011, Reuters was reporting that intel agencies increasingly co-opting Facebook for surveillance. We already knew that. June of 2011, facial recognition. Facebook and new privacy rover facial recognition feature. They've come under fire for quietly expanding the availability of technology to automatically identify people in photos. The feature, which is the giant social network automatically enabled for its users, for its more than 500 million users, has been expanded from the US to most countries. Mark Rotenberg, president of the nonprofit privacy advocacy group Electronic Privacy Information Center, said the system raised questions about which personally identifiable information, such as email addresses, would become associated with the photos in Facebook's database. Can anyone say airport? Can anyone say pre-crime? Can anyone think speeding ticket? I mean, think about it. You could just be in a photo in Botswana and somebody has some technology. Oh, that's Aaron Lujan. His email address is blah, blah, blah. He lives at blah, blah, blah. These are his friends and this is where he goes. And boom. I mean, use some imagination, you guys. This company's got incredible power right now. Too much power. And I used to be a free market guy that said, you know, stop the government intervention. I was very critical initially when I heard Trump a few months ago say we need to break up Facebook and Twitter. I'm like, no, you got to keep your hands off. But then I'm starting to rethink that position because maybe there is something to this monopoly. Frankly, as a marketer, I'm tired of the duopoly. And as I'm almost done here, 2 more points. February of 2011, Wired magazine was reporting that, sorry guys, this is Ghetto Podcast. Dating site imports 250,000 Facebook profiles without permission. Can you imagine if you ended up on a dating site, not even knowing that you're on a dating site? Match. I'd be sleeping outside right now, shoot. May 5th, 2010. Facebook glitch exposed private chats. Facebook scrambled to fix a software flaw that gave users unintended access to their friends' private instant messages. Hashtag slide into my DM, girl. Oh, snaps. Now all my girls know. Yeah. Imagine trying to be a player in 2019. The Palo Alto, California company said the bug was caused by an update to its software and was in effect, quote, for a limited period of time, which a spokesman described as hours. Private messages ending out in the public. Now, that's just the privacy side of it, you guys. There's also the censorship side. And the censorships, ooh, I'm about to lose my battery. Censorship is just as bad as the privacy. Going back to December 18th, way back in 2018. Can you believe? Man, this caffeine has me slurring. You guys would think I'm faded. December 18th, 2018. Yeah, Netanyahu's son was suspended from Facebook for criticizing Palestinians. This is the last time I drink black coffee this late. November 14th, 2018. Instagram censors pro-Israel voice who criticize Linda Sarsour. Again, Instagram's owned by Facebook. And Mimi Hecht, a business owner on Instagram, posted several statements on her Instagram story after the Tree of Life Synagogue shooting in Pennsylvania. She wrote to her 44,000 followers about the media's opinion of Israel. She had her voice silenced. November 11th, 2018, the Wall Street Journal reported that a Facebook executive was outed after he donated to an anti-Hillary Clinton group. His donation sparked backlash from colleagues. 6 months later, he was out of the company. Hit the brick, Shan. October 26th, 2018, Facebook blocked users who reported on CNN contacting Yale alumni looking for dirt on Brett Kavanaugh. Facebook not only blocked the users, but actually removed all the news articles exposing CNN. Talk about the best PR that money can buy. Hey, I'm CNN, Facebook. We got caught producing fake news. Facebook said, I got you. Blocked the accounts, deleted the content. Mark Zuckerberg, you run this show, baby. You could do whatever you want, huh? Well, I got news for you. You're going down, and we'll get to that at the end of this podcast. October 12th, 2018. Facebook cleans house, purges several top conservative pages 4 weeks before the election, as reported by Gateway Pundit. Little political activism on behalf of Zuckerville. A little bit. October 27th, 2018, as reported by Breitbart. Facebook-owned Instagram suspended conservative commentator Lauren Southern's account and said, hashtag my bad, that was just a mistake. We were just kidding. Oh, that was, we were drinking wine and then somebody tripped and hit the, oops, I accidentally deleted Lauren Southern's account and reinstated it later. We all believe Facebook. August 7, 2018, Facebook-owned Instagram removed conservative journalist Tommy Robinson's account and also said, hashtag my bad, later. Oh, that was an error. He was the guy that was speaking out against pedophilia Islam. It's in the Quran, look it up. July 5th, 2018, Facebook flagged the Declaration of Independence as hate speech. That evil Thomas Jefferson and that wicked liberty. You know, the only people who I think that liberty is wicked are tyrants. Mark Zuckerberg. May 9th, 2018, Facebook banned U.S. ads urging Ireland to keep its abortion ban. We do not want your money if you're trying to stop babies from being killed. We need to preserve reproductive health. We do not want your dirty money. Teens bribed for unlimited access to data. I guess they just got caught giving teenagers money for downloading VPN and lied to them saying that they were just going to monitor their Facebook data. They monitored everything. And these were kids under the age of 18. This just came out, I think, in the last week. Sorry, I'm just going off memory. I didn't have this written down other than notes. Disgusting, actually, when you think about it, because they're kids. April 11th, 2018, as reported by Fox News, Facebook rejected a campaign announcement from a Republican Michigan candidate. Of course, we don't want to hear from those evil Republicans. The day before that, Washington Post reported that black conservative personalities Diamond and Silk, love Diamond and Silk, right? Blocked on Facebook. April 9th. April was a busy month for Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg might have been drinking that month. Facebook banned a German historian for saying Islam is not a part of German history. You're banned. Goodbye. Go home. March 28th, 2018. Where are we? March. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Facebook favors for Obama campaign may have violated federal law. As reported by the Daily Signal, controversy continues to swirl around how the consulting firm Cambridge Analytica obtained personal data, but a more serious case of apparent misconduct involves Facebook's data going to a different presidential candidate. Of course, we didn't hear about it because it was Sweetie Pie. It was the chosen one. It was the Messiah, Obama. In this case, which is getting far less attention, Facebook reportedly voluntarily provided data on millions of its users to the re-election campaign of President Barry Hussein Obama. That was way back in reported March of 2018. Funny how we don't find out about that till way later, because Obama's squeaky clean, isn't he, folks? Giving hundreds of millions of dollars on pallets to the Iranians a week before he goes out of office. Squeaky clean Obama. I digress. February 18th, 2018. Where are we at? February 18th, 2018. Sorry, guys. Still working with without a producer and referencing a website while we're broadcasting live on Facebook. January 18, 2018, the Christian Post reported Facebook banned paid ads from a pro-life film produced by Dr. Martin Luther King's niece. So Facebook don't like Dr. Martin Luther King's family if you're not, playing their game. We just have to have the King family just do what we say. But if they, let's not forget, Dr. Martin Luther King was a pastor, okay? If he was alive today, he'd probably be vilified. But, the left loves him because he's dead now. August 16th, 2017. Where am I at? August 2017. Facebook removed the event page for white nationalists Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville one day before it took place. And I'm going to have to plug in my battery here and just take a quick pause. I'm not going to be able to. You know what, guys? We're going to have to do this video till the wheels fall off. And I may go dark on the video, but we'll still be going on the podcast because I cannot... Oh, can I flip this upside down? Rotate your phone. No, you can't return your phone during recording. Sorry, guys. If you're listening to the podcast, I am recording this live on Facebook. You know what? I'm just going to stop there, you guys. I plan on kind of going through a couple more of these, but I think you guys get the idea. If I haven't already made my point that Facebook's censoring like crazy, I don't know what else to tell you. I will say that there was one I did want to talk about by Breitbart. Facebook owned Instagram suspended the account of a conservative comedy group, Toughen Up America. You guys, a comedy group? It shows you that it's not motivated anything else other than politics. If you are anywhere to the right of Mao Zedong, you are banned off of Facebook. Another one that I also thought was really, really disgusting was in 2013, Facebook censored pictures of children rallying against GMOs during Global March Against Monsanto. And see, that's a cause that I think we unite on. Conservatives, liberals, everybody in between don't want to eat genetically modified foods. You go to the farmers markets and you see MAGA hats and you see hippies side by side because we all have to eat. And the fact that Facebook is protecting corporations shows you the real battle that I talked about in the last podcast. It's not about left versus right. It's about elites versus the common people. This is a populist warfare, if you will. And then just I think this week, Spotify and Netflix were given the private messages of Facebook users for who knows what reason, probably for ad marketing and so on and so forth. Last part of this podcast, guys, I just want to talk about how it's bad for you. You know what, guys? I really want to finish on the video, so I'm going to plug it in and hold it. So I'm going to be shaking because I'm caffeined out, and we're going to charge it on the handheld, and I'm going to go one-handed. Facebook's bad for you. We know that they censor. We know that there's an invasion of privacy. But there's psychological consequences to it, and that's the reason why I think you guys should delete it as well. And one of those case in points example is a December report from CBS News that said an author actually wrote about Facebook saying it's making us miserable. Quote, Facebook is making us unhappy by making everyone else look really, really happy. Author Daniel Gulati blogs for Harvard Business Review. He says that all the shared information is creating a subconscious ranking among friends as our curated selves broadcast online are compared in real life. Facebook is bringing down a lot of people's daily sense of well-being. I think a lot of us subconsciously or consciously are comparing, seeing, are we in the right job? Are we doing the right thing? Are we married yet? Do we have kids? Or, how are we doing socially? And a lot of times, because people will post their best, right? That a lot of times it's condemnation. It lowers people's self-esteem. I'll admit, man, I'll be like, dang, that guy is doing so much better in life than me because he's got the right clothes, he has the right life, and I'm like, 5 seconds later, realize, why do I even care? This is ridiculous. It's Facebook is not making us necessarily happy, and it goes even further in a with regards to depression. Associated Press in 2011 released a report. Doctors warn about Facebook depression in teens. That influential doctor group warns, referring to a condition it says may affect troubled teens who obsess over Facebook, that similar to what I just mentioned, they're feeling like they're inadequate, but it's actually leading to literal depression. April 10th, 2017, we have BuzzFeed. Facebook assisted the that's the wrong one. Oh, narcissism. That it's a field for narcissism. And anybody who's worked with or knows a narcissistic person knows that Facebook and Twitter are magnets for narcissism, and it encourages that. That's a negative quality, to be self-obsessed. And the fact that we have these platforms that are encouraging it by every measure should give us pause. April 12th, 2013, and I am searching with one finger, guys, so I hope you appreciate this. It's all for you guys. This is all for you. A study was done, anxiety and alcohol use linked to Facebook. Russell Clayton of the Missouri School of Journalism found that anxiety and alcohol use seem to play a big role with students. For his master's thesis, which appears in the May issue of Computers and Human Behavior, Clayton surveyed more than 225 college freshmen about two emotions, anxiety and loneliness, and two behaviors, alcohol and drug use. He found that the students reported higher levels of anxiety and these issues when they were emotionally connected with Facebook. And those that were not on Facebook were not as prone to drug use and alcohol abuse. Obesity. I thought this was kind of interesting. If you look at a study by CBS Atlanta put out back in 2012, researchers at Columbia University have learned that using Facebook may be tied to obesity due to the negative eating habits that could result from frequent visitation of social networking sites. According to the CDC, it's a big problem that's increasing, and this PhD surveyed 500 people about their internet use and found that the people who use Facebook more had reported higher body mass indexes than those who were not as frequently engaged. And I'm going to leave the last one and the most depressing one for you guys because I love you. May 21st, 2012, 1 in 3 divorce filings contain the word Facebook. 1 in 3 divorce filings contain the word Facebook. Apparently, y'all flirting out there on Facebook. So what's the solution? What is the solution? A Stanford NYU study, as it was reported by The Guardian, said small but significant improvements in well-being were reported when people, guess, did what? Deleted their Facebook account. So we already have studies by Stanford and NYU that are citing that your overall well-being will increase when you delete this. U.S. prosecutors, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. So I've personally have gotten off of it from time to time, and I've noticed that I'm more productive. I noticed that I feel more, put together. I feel like when it was on my phone as an app, I was just constantly distracted, constantly drawn to it. And there really wasn't anything significant that I was getting out of it. I think it was a matter of habit and learning from what Sean Parker said. It was exploiting vulnerabilities in my brain. And so what I wanted to say is, if you guys want to keep up with your friends, if you guys want to stay connected to people that you don't see every day, call them, text message them. Some of you got a message from me this Christmas. I learned this from a really good friend of mine, Joe. He would make sure that on Christmas, on holidays, he would send me a message. Sometimes I want to talk to this guy all year. And then on Christmas, he sent me a message. Merry Christmas, Lujan. I'm like, man, that's so nice of him. He just tells me, look, I'm still thinking about you. I still love you. If you're ever back in town, we're still friends. And you don't have to be connected to Facebook to be able to stay connected to people. It may be a little bit more work, but you know what? That work actually means something probably to the person on the other end. I had a friend who I hadn't talked to in months, ran into him around the holidays when I was in California. He's like, man, I appreciated that you sent me that message on Christmas. Like it touched him. Like it was, but just staying connected on Facebook wouldn't have done that. Call your friends, have coffee, build relationships. We were designed to have this relationships with other people. Let's make the most out of it. Let's look them in the eye. Let's have, break bread. Let's have a meal. That's real social connection. I think that Facebook was a good idea in the onset, but like most companies that have Wall Street money, they took a good idea and they beat it down to the ground and just destroyed all the novelty and all of the sweetness and innocence out of it. And it just turned into this toxic environment that just started to exploit people. And had it kept its original intent, which was just to be a place for people to keep in touch, I think it would have survived, and I think it would be respectable. But the fact of the matter is that it abused its power and its ability it abused its genius of connecting people and ruined a good idea. So social media, find another network. I think there's some other ones out there that aren't as obtrusive, that you only have 10 or 15 connections. Look them up. If you really want to stay in touch with people that are out of town, those platforms are out there. A lot of people tell me, but Aaron, I get a lot of my news and a lot of my, I follow brands and I follow, news and updates. It's called an RSS feeder. The one that I use is Feedly. It's beautiful. There's no ads. This is how I get all my news. This is how I keep up with. I have hundreds of sources that I boil down to just one app, and I can organize it based on date, based on keyword. I can follow brands. I can follow news articles. You don't need Facebook to keep your news organized. Feedly is free. Feedly is easy to use. There's privacy. It's not socially connected. So if you're really interested in keeping up with news, just download an RSS feeder like Feedly. It's that simple. And the last thing I want to say is none of this really even matters anyways, guys, because Facebook's going down. I'm going to close with this. Right now, U.S. federal prosecutors are suing Mark Zuckerberg and his platform for the Cambridge Analytica scandal and other privacy breaches that have taken place over the last couple years. Facebook's in trouble, you guys. Plainsight, a research firm, just released a report that 50% of its users are fake. Okay? This has incredible implications for their business side of it, because as a marketer, I know that people like myself are going to back away when we start to realize that it's not providing the return that it had always provided, that there's not integrity, there's not trustworthy in its platform, so we can no longer, with confidence, resell it and use it. And that's going to have dire consequences. A report just came out that the morale of employees in Menlo Park is very, very low. That it's a very toxic work environment, that everybody's faking it to make it, and you gotta love it because you've arrived. You're working at Facebook. You're the big dog now. You get to go home to Thanksgiving dinner and tell your grandparents that you work at Facebook. And so everybody wants to keep this job, and it's a top down, you do what I say, you fake it till you make it. If you're conservative, we're firing you, and everybody's living in fear, and a lot of people are leaving the company now. And anybody who's worked at a company that is on the downturn, that has scandals surrounding them and the morale starting to go down, we all know that those companies eventually sink. A company, I believe, is only as good as its people. And if its people are upset and angry and frustrated and leaving, I don't think there's a bright future for Facebook. Like I said in the beginning of this podcast, you guys, it's a party that lasted too long. I'm deleting my account. This is my last post. If you guys want to stay in touch, I'll be on Instagram. I know it's still Facebook, but can't help myself. Instagram's cool still. So I'll be sending some of you guys some invites. If you don't want to connect with me, that's okay. I'll cry about it later. If you do want to connect with me, we'll stay in touch on Instagram. If you just want to continue hearing the podcast, and the only way you've ever consumed the podcast is on Facebook, I would encourage you to like Counterculture on Facebook. I am going to continue to go live through the Facebook page. If you don't like it, you probably won't get notified. So please like Counterculture with Aaron Lujan on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or whatever podcast player you choose. Or go to aaronlujan.com and subscribe to the email. I don't have the email subscription up yet, but it'll be there shortly. Or just bookmark the site everything is archived on AaronLujan.com. You guys, that's all I have for today. It's been a wonderful 50 minutes and 40 seconds. I appreciate you guys listening to me talk because I used to get in trouble for this. I cannot keep my mouth shut. I'm a talker. It's why I podcast for fun. This was episode 33. I'm quitting Facebook and why you should too. AaronLujan.com. To all my Facebook friends, it's been real. It's been fun. And I'll miss you guys. Hopefully we can stay connected in real life or on Instagram. Peace.